In this video, we're going to be looking at a verbal reasoning question type called letter analogies. Some of this material has been taken from our verbal reasoning books, which you can find linked in the video description, alongside a free PDF with 20 questions for you to practice after this video. So you may already know from your English lessons that an analogy is a comparison between two things. Our goal in this question type is to find the pair of letters that matches up to the first comparison or set. Think of it as finding a pattern. Okay, so we have AG is to CI, so that's our first comparison, as MR is to blank. Right, so we've got to figure out what this blank is. Now, I know this may seem terrifying, but fear not, we're here to help. Usually in these questions, the first letters of each pair are connected somehow, as are the second letters of each pair. So A is somehow connected to C, and G is somehow connected to I. So let's start with A and C. How do we get from A to C in the alphabet? Well, we move two places forward. So on top of that C, I'm going to write a +2. I think it's useful to write the pattern above one of the pairs of letters. How do we move from G to I? Well, again, in this case, so if you find G, I is over here, 1, 2. We move 2 places forward. So again, on top of the I, I'm going to write +2. That is our pattern, +2, +2. So if you go to the question now, M, we've got to add 2 from M. So if we add 2 from M, we get to O. And do the same with R. If we add 2 to R, we get to T. So the answer should be OT. When doing these questions, it's useful to have the alphabet written out in front of you. Just makes things a little easier. And you can see that we have the alphabet given to us over here, but if you don't have that in your exam, just quickly write it down before you tackle these questions. If you're doing a multiple choice exam and you can see that there are only 1 or 2 options that start with the letter O, you can eliminate all other options. So let's take a look at some examples that I've written down now. The first one, we have FT is to CX as KX is to something that we have to figure out. Okay, so just like before, we need to work out the pattern. Remember, the first letters in each pair are connected somehow. In other words, they're corresponding, as are the second letters in each pair. So how do we go from F to C? Right, okay, so find F. F is over here, C is over here. So this time we've got to move backwards. Right, we move back by 1, 2, 3 spaces. So on top of that C, I'm going to write a -3. And now let's look at the second letters, T and X. How do we move from T to X? So find T, T is over here, X is over here. This time we've got to move forward, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to write a +4 on top of the X. So it's different to the previous example. In the previous example, the pattern was +2 for both of them. It doesn't have to be the same for both of them. It can be different, as you can see in this example over here. K, X. So for K, we have to -3. So if we find K, go back 3 places, 1, 2, 3. We land at H. X, we've got a +4. Okay, so let's see what happens. We've got X over here. Need to go 4 places forward. Okay, Y, Z, A. We have a slight issue here now, but there's an easy fix. Think of the alphabet as a continuous loop if you want. So when you get to Z, just continue counting forward from A. So if I start again, X, got to add 4 places. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So we get to B. Okay, so I feel you're probably ready to look at a more challenging example. And this time we'll make it a multiple choice example. So you get to use your deduction skills. So we have AD is to ZW as CM is to blank. Okay, so let's do what we normally do. How is A related to Z? -1, right? Go back 1 place, we get to Z. So let me write that on top of the Z, -1. How is D related to W? Okay, so let's find D. D is over here, W is over here, so let's check. I can go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces. So let me write a -7 over there. Seems like a little bit of a strange pattern, not an obvious pattern. -1, -7. But anyway, if we go with it, the answer according to this pattern must be, if we go back one place from C, we get to B. And if we go back 7 places from M, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we get to F. So the answer should be BF. But if you have a look at our possible answer options, BA, CM, WT, XN, BG, not a single one is BF. So this cannot be the answer. So let me just rub that out. Don't panic. When this happens, so when the pattern seems rather odd, like it is over here, -1 and -7, it's more than likely that this could be what we call a mirror question. So mirror questions are like reflections in the alphabet. So imagine a mirror line being drawn down the middle of the alphabet. It's easy to remember where that mirror line is, right? It's between M and N. The way this works is like this. Look, A gets reflected onto Z, B gets reflected onto Y, or you can think about them as opposites if you want. M gets reflected onto N, L gets reflected onto O, K gets reflected onto P, etc., etc. Okay, with that in mind, let's take another look at the question. So we have A and Z. Okay, so we've just said that A gets reflected onto Z, or is the opposite of Z. That seems quite plausible. D, right, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 from the front, gets reflected onto W, 1, 2, 3, 4 from the back. Okay, that makes a little more sense. It seems like this has been reflected onto this. So C, which is 1, 2, 3 from the front, should get reflected onto 1, 2, 3 from the back, X. So I'm going to put X over here. Now, as this is a multiple choice question, what I would be doing is I'd be looking at my answer options at this stage and seeing how many answer options do I have that begin with an X. And in this particular example, there's actually only one. So you should know, right, okay, this must be our answer. But let's just verify. M should get reflected onto N, and so yes, our answer should be XN. Okay, so I think you're probably masters now at tackling these question types. So I've got some examples here for you to try. Pause the video and see if you can do them before I reveal the answers. Okay, so hopefully you were able to tackle those questions. Let's go through the answers. The first one, YP is to CT as FL is to, right, let's compare the first letters, Y and C. How do we get from Y to C? Okay, well, we'd move 1, 2, 3, 4 places forward. So I'm going to write a +4 on top of the C. What about P to T? So P's over here, 1, 2, 3, 4 places forward. Okay, that pattern seems to make sense. Seems to be a relatively sensible pattern. So we apply the same change to F and L. So from F, we want to go 4 places forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We land at J. Now again, because this is a multiple choice exam or a multiple choice question, any answers that don't begin with J you can rule out. So I can rule that out, I can rule that out, and I can rule that out. We're now left with 2, JP and JQ. Remember, for L, we also have to go 4 places forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And so our answer should be JP. For the next question, HI is to KF. So once again, look at the first letters and see how they're connected. So H and K, how are they connected? Well, to get from H to K, you would move 1, 2, 3 places forward. So I'm going to write a +3 on top. And do the same with I and F. How do we get from I to F? Well, we move 1, 2, 3 places back. Again, it seems like a fairly sensible pattern. First letter, so we want to move 3 places forward. So 1, 2, 3. We land at M. Again, just have a quick look at your answer options and see how many you have that start with M. There's 2, so we can rule out the others. We can get rid of that, get rid of that, and get rid of that. And from O, we need to go 3 places back. So 1, 2, 3. And so our answer should be ML. Okay, now the very last question, right? E to V. Right, I can see, first of all, that I'm going to have to move quite a few places forward or quite a few places backward. So I'm pretty sure this one is going to be a reflection. So let me draw my mirror line in between M and N. And I'm thinking that E gets reflected onto V, right? So let's just double check that. How many places is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the front. And if we go to V, V is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the back. Okay. What about K and P? Are they reflections? K is from the mirror line, 1, 2, 3 places back. And P is 1, 2, 3 places forward. So I'm pretty confident that this is going to be a mirror question. So let's reflect B and I. So B, 2 places forward. It's the opposite of Y. So we're looking for an answer option that begins with Y. And in fact, for this question, there is only one answer option that begins with Y. Right? YR. But let's just double check. Let's just make sure that I does in fact get reflected onto R. So I is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places from that mirror line. R is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places too. So we know that this is a mirror question and that is the correct answer. I hope you found that video useful. Don't forget, you can download the free 20 question PDF via the link in the description, as well as a copy of the full verbal reasoning books. To watch another verbal reasoning video, click on one of these boxes and don't forget to like and subscribe.